Hello, I'm Allison Lane. I am your resident literary coach and marketer. And if we have not met, I am coming to you from my basement outside of Boston, in between my kids' lacrosse practice and another kid's soccer game. And this is the 22 minutes I have to give you. Because when you leave your corporate, cushy, comfortable job with fantastic healthcare, you fit this in. And I'm living the life that I want to live, but also I take my moments. I want to make sure that I get to answer your questions because you are here because you want to get your book published, or you want to figure out what the heck is the process in the publishing industry. Like, what do you need to have? What does it need to look like? How does it work? And all of this information should really be public. It should live somewhere on like a public website, like publishing.com, but that is not, that domain is, somebody bought it and wants to sell it for $3,000. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you all the things I said because all this information should be easier to find. If you are just joining me, welcome. And let's see, already we have a comment. Hello, Facebook user. You have to show me, see, it shows up Facebook user. So you have to tell me who you are. Otherwise I won't know because I probably know you. Like, ooh, I wish I had a magnifying glass like in, was it the electric company? Like I see Allison and I see whoever else was there. So you can post your name in your comment or, that way I'll know. Oh. Hello, Mona from Indiana. I knew you. I haven't talked to you in a long time. And hello, Laura from Sedona. If you're wondering, why do I know these people? It's because I host a free Facebook community for writers and people who want to be authors called The Publishing Lane, and you can join it. Anybody is welcome, whether you're writing your 22nd book, and if so, congratulations, or if you've just decided to pick up a pen and write your memoir, or put your expertise down in writing, or turn your family's ancestry into a page-turning novel. We welcome everybody, and show up. It's literally facebook.com/groups/the publishing lane, and I'm sure I'll put it back up here. So if you have any questions as I'm talking, you just throw them in the chat, in the comments, and I will see them. We're going to get to the Speed Q+A right now. And here's the first question. Finding out, how do I find comps for my book pitch? And for my, another way to say this is, how do I compute the right comps for my book proposal? So whether you're pitching your book, or you're putting together your book proposal, or you're simply trying to compare your book to another book that was a good seller, the industry requires that you do a little bit of their analysis for them. So even like if you were pitching a product to the sharks on Shark Tank, you would not go in and say, I have this great idea for this product, but I can't compare it to anything. You just have to envision it and take my word for it. It's going to be really great. And no matter, even if one of the sharks was like, this is genius, that's not how the sharks work. They are investors. They are looking for a product that has been, can show proof of concept, proof that people want it and are actually buying it. Not one or two people, not they intend to buy it, but they have to actually show that there's a business growth possible. And often you see on Shark Tank that they send people away and say, like, I just think your business needs another year, or it needs some tweaking, or you need to understand your audience more. And most of the time I'm like, oh, but that's a genius product, or I want that jelly, like whatever it is. If it's, I love jams and jellies. It's a weird thing. I did not plan to say that, but you know what? A little bit about me. And And half the time I think like, oh, I wish that they would go ahead and invest and believe in the product, but that is not the job of the sharks on Shark Tank, nor is it the job of the publisher or the literary agent who you're trying to, sell your book to. And it is a sell. You are pitching. You are saying, look at my book is about X, Y, and Z. It's about finding a hobby after retirement, and working with your hands, anything you can do in the backyard with like a piece of wood and some sandpaper. I don't know, whatever people do. I'm just picturing woodworking, and making birdhouses in your backyard. If that's you, congratulations, this is your book pitch. No, I'm kidding, it's not. What I would want to see for anyone is that they feel empowered to make the decisions that I'm going to show you how to make right now. So to the person who asked this, who is right now in the middle of my course, Rock Your Book Proposal, which is online, and it's all of my tricks and everything. It's all in there. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, and I'm going to show you because I'm going to share my screen, because it's one of my favorite things to do. And then I have a couple other tricks on my sleeve for you. So the way to her question was literally, how do I tell if a book that I want to use as a comparative title or competitive title, sometimes we call them comps, is a good seller, like that actually is a good seller? And this person asked also, like, I know that Amazon doesn't represent all sales. So what if this book sold a lot more than Amazon is showing? Here's the answer. If you want true, accurate numbers, you probably work at a publisher or you are an agent, because true, accurate numbers, or you know the author, which you can also ask, and they will get the numbers from someone else. Because agents and publishers have access to BookScan, which is like Nielsen, the Nielsen ratings, but it's actually, they count the actual units sold, period. But I don't use that, and you don't need to use that. Everything else I use comes from Amazon and my own marketing expertise, my gut, and my methods, which I'm going to show you right now. So even though you're saying, oh, I know that books get sold outside of Amazon, and I know that too, and you can take a look at bookshop.org. You can look at what Target has purchased and is showing on their website, and Barnes & Noble. You can look at all of that. But in terms of numbers, I'm going to tell you the way that I look is I look on Amazon and I look at a book's product description. Now I'm going to share my screen if I can figure out how to do that. Present. Let's see. Extra camera slides. No, extra camera. Share screen. Here we go. Amazon. Let's see. Window. Thank you for staying with me. Chrome tab. I'm just going to do entire screen because I cannot be bothered. Okay, here we go. We're hopping in to Amazon. So hopefully you are looking at Amazon. And if you're not, then we have an issue. Let me just check to see. We were looking at Amazon, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at Amazon. So this is, I'm going to move this to the side so that I am not making myself crazy. And then I'm going to look over here so that I have two things that I'm looking at. That way I can see you and I can see what I'm doing. And here we go. Okay, so here we have, so that's you right there, and I'm going to put you over there. This is what we're going to look at. If you're writing a book that is about parenting or about helping kids get to where they need to be socially in kindergarten, you might be looking at Why Will No One Play With Me? A better A Play Better Plan to Help Children of All Ages Make Friends and Thrive. This is by Caroline McGuire. And you can see that this book has 190 reviews. That is a lot of very positive reviews. And you can see that it has 4.5 stars. That's tremendous. Congratulations, Caroline. And this book was published in 2019, but this is actually the Kindle version, which was published in 2019. I don't know what this is, this office product down here, but we're just going to click on Why Will No One Play With Me? And we want to go to the book page. The book is available in 5 formats, and the only one you want to look at is the hardcover or the paperback. Both. Don't look at the Kindle version because that is not a good reflection of what the sales were. So we're going to go to the hardcover, and it still says, and the publication dates can change because usually the paperback in the olden days would come out a year after the hardcover, if at all, or sometimes now a book won't come out in hardcover at all. It'll just come out in paperback, whatever. But you want to only look at these. I always look at both of them. Okay, so so we're going to scroll down. All this is fantastic. Okay, this is all this book description. It is really lets you know the premise, the promise, and who the pro author is. So you have the premise, the plot, and the pro all in one fell swoop, in about 250 words. So good job, Caroline McGuire. You're going to scroll down, and you don't care about this right now, and you don't care about frequently bought together or products related or 5 stars and above. I mean, all of this is just Amazon saying, I think you might like to also buy this. Below the editorial reviews, below the bio, you have product details and publisher, language, hardcover, how many pages, the ISBN numbers. You don't care about anything about this, okay? This is what you care about. Boom, bestsellers rank. This book, despite being 4 years old, is still in the top 50,000 books sold on Amazon. That is huge. In fact, I was looking at this earlier because I was making another video, and it was at 28,000. So in one day, in the last week or so, because I work with Caroline, she's a client, we were looking at this because she's working on her next book. Hooray. And it's been hovering at 28, 37, whatever, it changes. But what's important here is that this is a good comp only if this were published in the last 3 years, right? But it's also a good comp if it was published in 2022 and it was here, it's automatically a good comp because really anything between 1 and 200,000, good. But if you're writing memoir and you really want to reach deep for a book to including your comps that maybe was a literary memoir, I would go lower than that, and I think that would be fine. But only if I pair the other comps with books that are higher ranked, because you're giving a picture, so if you were writing a parenting book and you had a couple of books that were published in the last year or two, and you wanted to then include Caroline McGuire's book, then that would make a good comp mixture. Also, I'm just going to point out, you also want to go and check the other marketing lists that the book is on, because it gives you ideas for what this audience is also buying. These are not, when you click on one of these, they're not limited to that genre. It's, picture books and narrative nonfiction and how-to and memoir. It's a crapshoot. It's a melting pot. I always go and check the paperback as well. Same process, check the paperback. because sometimes the paperback is higher ranked, sometimes it's lower ranked. So that matters. I hope that answers your question. And now we're going to move on to stop screen share. We're going to move to the next question, which is how long, let's take this down. The next question, how long do I have to wait before I nudge the editor who accepted my essay, said it would be published by now, actually 2 months prior, but my emails to this editor are going unanswered. And my answer is, damn, that sucks. And I'm sorry that that happened to you. It is likely that this editor no longer works there, or is inundated, or has a sick parent and is out on leave caregiving, or has won the lottery and also no longer works there. So your job is to, number one, get in touch with someone else who works there. And I'm sure they have a website, and email someone to say, hey, this was supposed to happen, and is this still happening? And if not, and I would not wait, I would submit that baby somewhere else, because life is not for waiting. Your work is good enough to be accepted there. It's good enough to be accepted in many other places. So get that work out there. Do not wait holding your breath. Now, on the flip side, I do have a friend who is oh my gosh, beautiful essayist. And she just got a note back 11 months later from a publication she submitted to saying, we love your piece, we want to publish it. And she said that she had just started sort of taking it apart and reworking it, because she was like, oh, I guess it's not going to work this way. And then she quickly put it back together and sent it to them, and it's coming out next week. And I can't wait. She read it aloud at an event I just went to. I say event, it was a bunch of writers in a room in somebody's living room, and freaking awesome. And it was breathtaking, every word. So I'm not saying that this publication won't be publishing your piece. I'm saying, do not wait. You say yes to the first publication that says we want to print it. And then if it doesn't get printed, you keep going, because there is a home for your work. That is that. Question number 3. We are cooking with gas. Question number 3 comes from a really good place of activity. This question is, how can I submit an excerpt from my unpublished manuscript for an anthology and have it published? What is the effect and the reaction going to be of my future publisher? So this is a writer who has not sold her manuscript yet, but wants to enter a chapter in an anthology. It's a contest. And obviously the answer is it depends. However, their publishers really appreciate being able to place your excerpts of your book as part of the promotions process. And if you have that excerpt published elsewhere, that piece can't be published again, usually. Let's say 97% of the time. However, if you write a piece that's a companion or parallel or not exactly like excised from your manuscript, and you submit that, then you're sort of, it's a complementary piece, but it's still revealing, so you can write about what's happening in your memoir. I happen to know this writer, and she's a memoirist. But you don't have to excise that. Or you can say, okay, I'm going to lift this, and I'm happy that this is going to happen. There are many, many examples, but they are exceptions of people getting, like a short story published, and then they develop that into a novel because an agent or a publisher saw it, and then that publisher said, "I think this would make a great novel," and it's published in maybe a literary journal or a small publication, and the publisher isn't concerned about that. But those are rare. One of the recent examples I can think of is when Stephanie Land wrote an essay for Scary Mommy about what it was like to clean people's houses and how she knew more about them than their spouses did. And that essay was short. And from that, she got agent offers and film offers, and her book became a bestseller overnight. And if you have not read it, it is incredible. And everything she writes is genius. And her Instagram is delectable. And she's, and I can't even bring myself to watch the Netflix miniseries or the limited series because I love the book so much. And I don't know her, but Stephanie, if you're watching this, I think you're the cat's pajamas. So this writer also says, let's see, I have a piece that she also says that the publisher, says, she asked the publisher the same question she asked me. And the publisher said, that we publish shortlisted stories in an anthology, but the rights revert to the writers. That doesn't really answer her question. Yes, the rights revert to you. So that is good news, because some publications, the rights, you can't publish it again at all, even if you wanted to. Like, you can't sell it again. So the rights revert to you. That's great. But your future publisher, if you get published with Ben Bella or, Hachette or whatever, there are so many publishers who would love to get their hands on your work. Maybe, think about, you're an amazing writer, and everything I've ever read of your work is truly breathtaking. Sometimes you feel like, well, but I wrote all of this. So can't I choose from here? Like, you can, but then you have to take that egg out of that basket. Like, you can't keep all the eggs in the basket and say, I swear I'm a great writer. Sometimes you have to show people and then use up that piece. But if you're submitting that first chapter that I love, don't do it, because it is super, super dreamy, and it gives me the full body tingles. Okay, we have a bonus round. Facebook user says, I have a piece I'm trying to publish that isn't in my novel anymore because I rewrote it from dual POV to one. I haven't placed it yet, but it isn't exactly like the novel. Okay, is there a question, Mona? You should publish that. You should, if it's a piece that came from your novel, you should submit that into flash fiction or short story contests and anthologies, big ones. Mona is a moderator in the Publishing Lane Facebook group that I host, and it's free, and everyone should join, because this is 25 years of marketing and PR leadership for Fortune 50 companies, not Fortune 500, I'm talking Fortune 50 countries, 25 years. I publicized and promoted everything from financial earnings to like partnerships with major celebrities and singers. I mean, singers doesn't even, like, everyone you've ever heard of. Yes, those people too. So now that I left my big time corporate cushy job with the health insurance, and I am devoted to helping, usually, almost always, women over 50, because that's what I am, find their voice and get published. I am telling you, this is my very best advice. Mona says, that's what I've been trying to do. Good, Mona. Mona, if you need help finding new places to submit, post that in the publishing lane. Ask the question. You don't have to wait for ask for what you need Tuesday or Thursday or whatever it is. Post something individual. I'm doing this. Does anyone have, I'm looking for, more places, and you already know to use submittable. But so sometimes you have to tell people, I already know this. Like, you don't want beginner advice. You want, the next step advice. Like, I get what I'm supposed to be doing, but where else? I've thought of this, and this. Where else? That is that. Let's see if there are any more comments. Here's what I'll just say is that the path to publication for anyone should not come with the difficulty of finding out what the path to publication is. It's really, really frustrating to think that you have a sense of the entire journey. Should be told, like, okay, now I did this, and is it ready to pitch? And the person that you're working with is like, no, now you need to do this. Or did you get a beta reader or a critique partner? Or have you revised? Have you read it aloud? Have you thought about how you're going to market it? And as someone who was responsible for the entire journey of the writing, pitching, placing, promoting, merchandising, doing the digital marketing, I can tell you that you can promote your own work, and you can be faster doing it. The journey can be more direct. And what it takes is being able to see the full board before you start. Because, just like if you're in one of those like Harry Potter mazes with all the, trees, and you can't see where you are, but if you're looking at it from above, you know exactly where the speed, like turn left, turn right, you can escape Voldemort. I said his name out loud. And you can escape that. So just like that, I'm telling you, having the full view is super helpful. And knowing what success looks like for you. Do you just want to see your work in the world? Or do you want to make sure that your book ends up in schools or in the hands or in libraries, or contributes to the research of the world, or all of this? Do you want it to be a bestseller? Do you want it to make sure it's published in Peru or Colombia? All of these things matter. So long as you know what your end goal is, there is a swifter path to get you there. And most of the time, it comes with two pieces of advice, or my reaction is this. You don't need to do that. It's the number one thing I say. Why would you do that? You don't need to do that. Oh, I don't? No, you don't. Number one, you don't need to do that. Number two, you don't need to hire somebody to do that. I can teach you how to do that in an afternoon. The second thing I always say is, I have a template for that. Never start from scratch. Never start from scratch. And that is a tip that comes from, high level global marketing, is if you have to do something twice, you need a template. I have a template for that. Whatever you're thinking about, you need a blurb strategy. You need to reach out to people that you've never met and ask them to endorse your book. I have a template for that. And it's charming. It's not lame or vague, or the worst is when you buy something and it's like a instructional whatever, and it's a workshop, and you get instructions like, be friendly. Describe to them how you might know them. Like, yeah, duh, of course. No, that's not a template. That's like tiny, tiny, obvious hints, and it's not fair. And it really just makes you spend the same $297 over and over again. And it's a colossal waste of your time. Instead, actually, my entire blurb strategy, all of my templates, all of them come with the Rock Your Book Proposal program. And I will give your book proposal a critique, all for $497. I will look at your proposal, your query letter. I will give you you'll get it all. Your query, your proposal, I'll look at your comps, etc. You get to learn how to actually find an agent and get an agent. All of these things you shouldn't have to pay for, like, here's $100 and here's $100. It's a pain in the rear. I almost said ass, but I'm not going to curse because who am I kidding? There's cursing. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow because there are so many questions coming in. If you have not asked a question yet, and you can ask a question every single day. I do not care. You can leave me a voicemail or ask a question at lanelit.com/ask Allison. It is literally a voicemail. It is free. You leave a message. I will get it and I'll either answer it in video or I'll respond to you directly if it's super personal. And I might do both, but I won't reveal your name. So ask for what you need and I'm here to deliver. See you tomorrow.